Well, with the things the way they worked out this past week in aggregate publishers, it only seemed like the natural progression for us to discuss the elephant in the room. Publishing off of Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing. Is it possible to make money off of Amazon? Well, it is, and we're going to share more in today's live stream. Stay tuned! Welcome to Self-Publishing with Dale and
Kelly.
If you're new to this channel and you want to learn tips and strategies on how to self-publish your own books, make sure you subscribe and turn your notifications on to get all my latest videos, and so you don't miss a single live stream that happens every Thursday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For those of you that are just watching this later, welcome to the replay. We're glad to have you here, and as things start to kind of pick up momentum, we're going to get into talking a little bit more about aggregate publishing. Some of you may have noticed that the channel's changed just slightly over the past couple of weeks since I got back from Los Angeles Vid Summit. It's for good reason. I'm focused a lot on some of my publishing activities and other things that get me off of YouTube. So I'm going to continue to try to provide these Thursday live streams as well as Saturday morning live streams. And you're going to get at least one self-publishing interview. So that way you've got some kind of content, at least until we get to the beginning of the year. So one of the things that has been missing from the queue lately is going to be the Self-Publishing Week in Review. I typically have brought together some of the best information, so that way you don't even have to log into your email or check out the latest blogs, and you can get all the information that you need from one spot. So with that being said, our audio just went off.
Audio comes before video.
Wonderful. Go figure. Thank you very much for looking out here, buddy. It's looking good on our end. The health is good. Huh. Not sure why it is doing this to us. Thank you for the heads up. For those of you that are watching this a little bit later. Yeah. Let's see here. I just love repairing these type of things. I apologize in advance. Properties. Unfortunately, we're going to probably have to deal with the Bruce Lee lips here, folks. My apologies, but at this point, we can sit here and fiddle-faddle around with the stuff, or you guys are just going to have to deal with the delay in audio. Thanks for the heads up. Maybe it's just me. Tried it on mobile and desktop, but it's bearable either way, my man. Thank you very much, Dog Dad. Appreciate you looking out for me. All right, Self-Publishing Week in Review. Here we go. This got a notification from Audiobook Creation Exchange. They have got a new program, and it's called Romance Unlimited. Am I right?
Something like that. Something
like that. Essentially, it is the same type of thing like Kindle Unlimited is, that people get a membership that they can check out your audiobooks through Audiobook Creation Exchange, and you are paid by time listened. So this is just for romance, correct?
Yeah, from what I know, because they didn't let me opt into the non-romance stuff.
Right. I have a handful of romance books from a few years ago I had published. So I was elated to get those going on there. So if you happen to have a romance publishing brand, I highly recommend that you look into that option. Go to Audiobook Creation Exchange and check it out. They actually, as soon as you get logged in, I think it actually queues it up to where it says, do you want to enroll this? Now, if you don't have any romance books, this may not be applicable to you. I don't know too much more outside of it if they're going to do something like the KDP Select Rewards program. I imagine something like that will come in due time. But either way, it is another way that you can monetize your business if you happen to be a fiction romance writer. So those of you that are in nonfiction, some people that are particularly like me, this may not work in your favor. So in any event, that is ACX. So Kelly has got news she shared with me today about unpublishing on KDP. What's the word?
If you have some unpublished books for whatever reason, I'm not getting to that, you can now delete them off your KDP bookshelf, which I think is really cool.
Okay.
It does not apply to blocked books, just the unpublished ones. You can delete it. Go over next to on the right hand side, those 3 little dots go down to there, and the bottom will be delete. You'll have to confirm, and it's easy as that.
Interesting. So there you go. So block books, if you've had a block book, there's no way to delete it. Dang it. I do have one block book. I'm going to be very straightforward with you guys. That, you know, I've already said it before that I had went into fiction romance at one point or another, and let's just say that I pushed my luck on one cover. I really pushed my luck, and Amazon didn't like it. They blocked it. This is probably one of the reasons why I didn't go any further into fiction, because I just really didn't have the heart, and this was about the time that I was shotgunning this business. So there you go. You've got the ability to remove any titles that you've previously unpublished. You can actually delete it off your account and get rid of the mess. To me, it's going to be one of the last things on my priority rung, because I know I've got a lot of unpublished titles that I don't plan on republishing anytime soon or at all.
Probably, once it comes to the top of the heap, I'll probably just see it and delete it.
And delete it at that time. So yeah.
I doubt I'll go through the whole list, because it's just, they're there.
Yeah, know your pecking order of what you want to do and when you want to do it. So have you unpublished any of your books? We'd like to know. And have you had any issues? I have a full tutorial on this channel, but maybe there's a bit of ambiguity in it. So share with me what you've done so far. All right, let's see here. Going to go in. Apologize here, folks. Next item for news. KDP Select Global Fund was $19.5 million. My good friend here, Kelly, and my wife, oddly enough, she has some information on how much that breaks down to the KENPC, the Kindle Edition Normalized Page Count. So what does that run to be this past month?
Well, I found this handy dandy chart thanks to my good strangers over at akreport.com that says for all 5 regions the amount. Should I put the link in the chat?
Yeah, please drop the link in there.
I'm going to drop
this
the
is
link.
non-affiliate here, folks.
It's just for your information. I'd recommend bookmarking it. So on the 15th, you can just look at it and be like, cool. But this past month, 0.00456 for the U.S. And that's a slight increase from the previous month. I've never looked at the other regions before, but U.S. is the bulk of page reads for most people, so.
Excellent. This is a new tool to me. I typically have gone through and I get the old KDP reports and I try to figure it out the long way. Why didn't you show this to me before? Did you just discover this?
Yeah. Because I normally rely on my fiction group to tell me. I never figure it out myself. I just know how to. And this was in our chat today on our Facebook group.
Nice.
So
thanks, chat. We appreciate you guys saying that.
I'm not hiding anything from you about this.
I wasn't saying it. This is turning into one of those Facebook feeds here where she just beats me up here, folks. All right, moving further forward, this is kind of nice. We're going to be able to transition into what we're talking about today, which is aggregate publishing. I'll explain aggregate publishing in just a moment for those of you that are new to that term and what it does and why you would do it. Before we do go over into that, so this past week, we really covered a lot of just big news. And part of that big news is Pronoun Publishing. The Macmillan Publishers, the parent company of Pronoun Publishing, announced this past week they're closing doors mid-January, okay? It's pretty big news for some of you that are taking advantage of Pronoun. I've really been a champion for them, and I really have loved what they're doing. But sadly, it's come to an end. I think Macmillan must have been bleeding money or hemorrhaging money through Pronoun Publishing. I didn't know how they were able to profit. Their model didn't make any sense to me on how they were able to benefit from it. I loved it, but sadly, those of you that don't know what Pronoun Publishing is and you haven't looked at it at all, you can't open an account and you can't upload any books at this point. Those of you that have Pronoun are probably wondering, and I know I've gotten a couple of questions about migrating the information of your books from Pronoun to another platform, another aggregate publisher. We know for a fact there is one, and what was that one?
PublishDrive. I got so excited. I don't remember. I logged into one last week before I found PublishDrive, and it was so confusing, but I don't remember what it was called. I just erased it out of my mind. But then I signed up for PublishDrive, which was so easy.
Free, correct?
Free, 100% free.
Free.
I don't even think you need to put in much just to get an account. Obviously, you need to put in bank info, yada yada. But if you go to one of the drop downs on the very top, it gives you the option to, I think it's like publish a new book, and the drop down migrate from Pronoun.
Migrate from Pronoun. That's very smart on their behalf, because they're offering something that you're not having to, for instance, unpublish and then republish to just the same areas. And the beauty of it, PublishDrive actually had quite a few avenues I don't see anywhere else. Now, are they profitable? I don't know. I can't hardly endorse PublishDrive, but I can say for those of you that are looking that, for instance, I use Pronoun strictly for Google Play. I get a lot of money through Google Play and a ton of downloads through Google Play, because here's the fact. Google Play, hello, you've got the favor of the world's largest search engine in Google.com. And when you can really get a lot of sales, you start to index a lot of your work in there quite a bit more. So that's why Google Play is so important. I was having a conversation with my boy Kevin Tomlinson over at Draft2Digital, and he said, who actually uses Google Play? And he didn't mean it in a derogatory way. I was like, I do. And I know you do as well. You get a fair amount from that, correct?
Oh yeah, I'm going to lose about 75% of my Pronoun stuff unless I get it transitioned, quick.
So anybody that's watching this, do you use Pronoun, and are you looking for other alternatives? We definitely want to hear from you inside the comments. Drop them on in there. If you've got questions about Pronoun, here's the main thing is you can go about it in the long way, unpublishing everything, and you can go and re-upload it everywhere else. But the option to migrate your stuff is way easier, way simpler.
Saves so much time.
Saves a lot of time, and especially if you're someone like I have well over 60 books. I don't even have my entire catalog up there, thankfully.
I have 90.
She has 90 books, so you can see how it can be very time consuming. For those of you that have only 3 or 4 books, it's still going to save you some time that you can migrate it from one to the other. Please do your due diligence on PublishDrive. Have you used PublishDrive before? Drop it in the comments. I want to hear what your open and honest and candid thoughts are on that aggregate publisher. So I'm pretty excited about it. I'm going to look at it a little bit more. I'm just mainly concerned about getting into Google Play, because we can't get into Google Play directly, correct?
Just through a few aggregate publishers. And like I said, that one that I thought was confusing had Google, but I don't want to waste time. But to be upfront, I haven't done much with this migration with PublishDrive. You have to go through a couple steps, and that first step is requesting files from Pronoun. That's the only step I've done, because in my mind, they still have it there until mid-January. My Q4 stuff is off the chain right now, so I'm probably going to worry about it about the 20th, 22nd of December once Q4 dies down a little bit until the end of the year. I'm going to catch up on stuff like that. So.
Joshua Guevara actually brought up books on Google Play are not available in his country of Trinidad. Yeah, sorry to hear that, but please don't overlook that option. That Google Play can be just extraordinary. I imagine it's Google. They're going to eventually, they're much like Amazon, they want to make sure that they expand out to as many regions as possible. So it will come. It's not a case of if, it's going to be a case of when that happens. And I think their issue is they had to get over the hurdle a couple of years ago when they closed down their doors to accepting new books or new accounts for Google Play for books purposes. Because what was happening is they were getting inundated with a lot of scammers and a lot of just real litigious type situations. So rather than having to deal with that, they shut their doors. They only kept grandfathered accounts. I know, for instance, my virtual assistant, Ava Fales, actually still has a Google Play account, and she was looking at possibly utilizing that in a way that she could help out the self-publishing community. So stay tuned to that. I know I'm talking to her quite a bit. I think it's awesome that she has that tool. But nonetheless, Google Play can be extraordinary. So let's talk aggregate publishing. Hey, if you happen to be in here, could you do us a favor? I see there's about 11 of you guys here. Hit the thumbs up if you're enjoying some of this content. And if you've got questions, even if it's a little bit outside of what we're talking about, drop it inside the chat and we'll try to address that as we go along. If it happens to be a little bit outside the scope of what we're talking about today, I'll make sure that we double back around to it towards the end of the stream. So aggregate publishing, can you explain to everybody what is aggregate publishing?
It's the one-stop shop of publishing, in my opinion. You can, I don't want to compare, I'll compare them to Target. You can go to Target for groceries, clothes, anything you need.
Yeah.
Well, you can go to this aggregate publisher and, you know, publish in all these different departments or other companies.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and much like Target, if I go into that store, I can go directly to the goods that I want to, so I don't need to go and buy something from everything, correct?
Right. You can pick and choose.
Okay.
At least PublishDrive and Draft2Digital as well gives you the option of, do you want all of them or do you want to pick and choose?
Yeah. So, essentially, what she's telling you about aggregate publishing is it's the benefit of having one platform that shoots your work out to multiple platforms. Meaning that, for instance, I'm going to take something like Pronoun, which has got its doors closing down here in mid-January. They have the distribution to Amazon KDP. They have the distribution to iBooks. They have Barnes & Noble. They have Kobo. They have a host of other ones as well as Google Play, as we have been discussing. So this is one of the nicest ways that you can spread your brand and your books out wider, okay? Amazon, yes, is the mega online retailer. You can make a substantial amount of money on there. But make no mistake about it, there's still money to be had outside of the online juggernaut. You can still make money through other places like Apple iBooks. I get a fair chunk of change from them through Smashwords. You can get some through Barnes & Noble's Nook. That really can get you a nice amount of change. So here's the thing is, aggregate publishers, I'm telling you this right now, there's more than I ever had thought of originally, and if it wasn't for this whole Pronoun shutting down their doors and having to look into other options, that I discovered something like this. So at any rate, let's see here. Joshua, for now you can sing up using their interest from to be informed.
Good to know.
Good to know. Thank you very much, Katian.
In.
Yes, for sure. Actually, Katian was just talking with her actually on here, and we're talking about some aggregate publishers. So let's go ahead. Let's talk about our favorite. Let's get our favorite out of the way. Who's your favorite besides Pronoun? Because Pronoun just doesn't count anymore.
Well, the only one I do right now is Draft2Digital, but sorry, Kevin, I'm not considering you a favorite. You don't have Google Play.
There we go. So I'm going to make sure to anybody that actually happens to be talking to Kevin Tumlinson, drop him a line, send him a tweet. I think it's at Kevin Tumlinson. Tell him, yeah, my wife just called him out, which he's a good guy. He's got a good sense of humor. But any event, I think that actually Draft2Digital is still working on getting Google Play and Ingram. Ingram's going to be a big one. Now these, for the sake of understanding this better, when we're talking about these aggregate publishers, we're just focusing on electronic books, just on the ebooks or Kindle, if you will. So that way there's no ambiguity about this. We're not talking about print books. We're specifically just addressing ebooks in general. So any event, Draft2Digital is pretty nice. I can't seem to add a link here. Oh wow, it didn't drop it to you.
I don't know what link she's trying to add.
If you can let us know, Katian, what you're trying to drop, Dog Dad will actually approve that link, because sometimes YouTube gets all finicky about that type of stuff. I don't know why. Heriberto, it's good to see you here. So thanks to your videos, I was about to upload all my books to Pronoun. I don't have them anywhere outside of Amazon. Where should I start? Smashwords, Draft2Digital, PublishDrive, all three. Good news, we're going to give you a lot. So there's going to be a lot of choices. We're going to say right now, for ease of use, Draft2Digital is probably one of the best ones pound for pound. They just picked up Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing. Now, some people are probably going to scratch your heads and go, why do I want to upload to Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing through Draft2Digital when I can just go to Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing?
One-stop shop.
It's a one-stop shop. It makes it super simple. If you're a newbie to self-publishing, I would recommend you start from KDP. That's just, if you're new, you've never published a single book, start at KDP. Don't worry about aggregate publishers. This is stuff that would probably be the next best step. There are certainly exceptions to the rule, but for this one, for the sake of understanding exactly what we're talking about, I'm talking about the more experienced people here for aggregate publishing. So it is a one-stop shop. For me, it's not that much harder for me to open up KDP and have Draft2Digital open, I wouldn't use KDP on the Draft2Digital platform, only because I already have KDP set up and I can just whip right through that stuff. So Draft2Digital is really nice. They have quite a few options. Like I said, KDP, iBooks. It seems like most of the aggregate publishing brands actually have Kobo, Barnes & Noble, and iBook, correct?
I think so. Like those seem like the big ones that are all over.
Yeah, and bear in mind, those are the three publishing companies that Amazon considers the closest to being any kind of competition. So for sake of price matching, this is another higher tactic and higher strategy, is doing price matching. So if you end up doing a free book, you can publish your book free through iBooks, Barnes & Noble, or Kobo, and Amazon will price match those. So in other words, you can't do something for free over on KDP at all. They won't allow you to do that. But if they see somewhere else that it's published somewhere else and you're not on the KDP Select program, to be noted, that's one thing, is if you use aggregate publishing, please do not opt into KDP Select. That will not do you any favors. But they will price match that. So
let's go back to his. So what do you think about Smashwords?
Okay. Mark Coker, I love you, buddy. Okay, he's the founder of Smashwords. But please update your site. It's just, there's too much information. I love Smashwords. They pull in a little bit extra cash for me. They're really nice. They have tons of options. But for anybody that's new to self-publishing, forget about it. You will literally want to quit your day job and go panhandle on the streets if Smashwords was your only option, because the formatting it's just tough. I actually have a video in my video catalog. If you just search up Smashwords formatting tutorial Dale, it'll probably pull that one up and it'll show you how to do that. So that one is probably one of the best ways, but Smashwords has got a lot of work to do, and it seems like they're just not quite caught up. I know you're not a big fan. Did you tried them once, correct?
Nope, never have. I don't even have an account.
Wow, yeah.
I've heard him go crazy, and I'm like, nope, I don't need that.
So. I haven't done it in a while. I haven't gone crazy. The other day, I kept my cool because actually I was having some issues with some metadata that was just driving me crazy.
So we already talked Draft2Digital, PublishDrive. The interface, in my opinion, looks easy, but like I said, I'm not going to do any transition until the end of December when Q4 clears up. And for the newbie self-publisher, I would say pick one between Draft2Digital and PublishDrive. I can't endorse PublishDrive yet because I haven't used them.
Same too.
If Draft2Digital would get Google, I would just go them all the way.
Yeah.
So
that would be the big difference maker. See, here's the thing is, and this is something that Kevin has said, and we keep bringing this name up quite a bit. If you haven't had the opportunity, watch the interview that I had with him. He's got a great podcast called the Wordslinger Podcast. Look it up. Great guy, very knowledgeable. But Draft2Digital is very specific about who they bring in as partners in their distribution agreements, because they don't just want to bring anybody in. And I think the big hang up when it comes to Google is it just doesn't make sense for what they're doing right now. They're working on it, but it's got to make sense to where it favors the indie author. They have your best interests at heart. So if you don't see something on Draft2Digital or somebody else's aggregate publishing, there's probably good reason, is they probably don't see the value in developing that relationship and getting that agreement between those two platforms, because it's got to work out for everybody involved. Draft2Digital's got some skin in the game. If they end up getting Google Play and it's to their detriment, that's not good, because we don't want to see Draft2Digital go out of business. And same thing goes for a PublishDrive or some of these other ones we're going to discuss here in just a minute. And I'm going to bring up some other names, but I don't want to go too far down the path. So we've discussed so far Draft2Digital. We brought up Smashwords. Now, please don't be discouraged. If you happen to be doing very, very basic books, like you're just doing fiction work with just very, very basic formatting, Smashwords is going to be super easy for you. It's going to be a super easy solution. But for someone like me, where I have picture-heavy devices, then it's going to be very, very difficult. What'd you find?
Katja found something new. Katja, Google's not closed out. They're accepting a limited number of publishers.
Very cool. That is good to know. That is good to know. Thank you very much, Katya. And so this is breaking news.
And Dog Dad for getting a link for us.
Yes, very good. Dog Dad, could you do me a favor? If you happen to be just somewhat available, could you drop me that link in my the personal messenger there, so that way I can use that inside the show notes here when we get offline. So any event, so we've talked Draft2Digital, we've talked Smashwords, and we've talked PublishDrive. Let's go ahead and talk about some of these other ones. And I'm just going to put them out here, and I'm going to have to say this with a little bit of a forewarning. I have zero knowledge about them. There's probably one I'm going to mention right now. It's called Lulu.
Yes. Can we finish PublishDrive and Draft2Digital before we go on to the others?
Absolutely.
Josh asked a question.
Sure, fire away.
Why choose one or the other, PublishDrive or Draft2Digital? Why not both? Not sure if I missed it.
Because you don't want to double up on these platforms. And if you haven't done an aggregate publisher yet, it might seem overwhelming at first. So it's knowing what distribution platforms that they have, because you don't want to do duplicate publishings. You don't want to have two versions of, let's say, you've got a cowboy romance book. You upload it to Apple iBooks through Draft2Digital, and it has numerous things. Then all of a sudden you go over to PublishDrive and you upload it there too. Apple doesn't like that. They don't want to see duplicates of one publication. So you don't want to be ticking off any, bigger platforms and getting into where they ban you off of there because you're putting duplicate things. I accidentally did it. Thankfully, I caught it in time before I got any kind of undue duress from Apple. Apple was actually the one I was really concerned about because I forgot to check that off. So you can do it on those two different ones. That's a great question, Joshua. I would just recommend that you check off platforms that you've used on one particular one. So say, for instance, you're using Draft2Digital and you use it for Apple iBooks. Make sure you go into PublishDrive and untick that option. You don't want to have that feeding out there, or vice versa. It's a little bit more problematic when you go into Smashwords. It's another thing that I don't really care for Smashwords, is they don't have anything immediately available in the dashboard to where you can check off those distributions. They just shoot out to all of them regardless of whether you want them or not. And then you've got to go back in and dig deeper into the dashboard to actually find it. It's a mess. It's a mess. It could be so much cleaner. So, yeah. Thank you very much. Excellent question. If for some reason I don't answer, we can always double back around. So let's talk about Lulu. Lulu's been around for quite some time, and is it my understanding, am I not getting this right, they do ebook as well as print?
I have no idea. I'll look it up.
I'm pretty sure Lulu does both of those. But like I said, for the sake of today's discussion, we're going to be talking just strictly about ebook. Lulu, I believe, has Google Play, if I'm not incorrect on that one. Let us handle the heavy lifting. See what distribution they have on here. So, any event, Lulu's been around for quite some time, because I know that when I was breaking into the business about 3-4 years ago, I ran into them initially, and they didn't have as easy of an upload process as I can recall. So the Lulu's changed a lot. It's way easier from what I can tell. I agree. It could be a lot cleaner. Thank you very much, Martian Beast. I appreciate that you agree with me. Which, by the way, if anybody disagrees with me, feel free, drop it inside the comments. I don't feel like it's trolling. If you disagree with me, that's fine. One of my best buds in Mecca, I disagree with him on a number of things, but that's okay. So drop your thoughts inside the comments. Just, don't be mean about it. I've got feelings after all. But yes, Smashwords could be a ton bit cleaner. Lulu's gotten pretty good. I haven't had a chance to publish on them, so let me know if you've published on them before. The ebook distribution FAQs for Lulu, it says...
I don't see anything about Google Play.
Nothing about Google Play, so I could be 100% off on this. My apologies here, folks. What does that say up on the side here? No, doesn't say that. But it does have print. It does have print options available in the distribution. I think it goes through Ingram. I'm pretty sure it does, which Ingram's just a great company. It's just out of South Tennessee, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah, so down in Tennessee. Mecca Osai, I disagree with everything. He finally chimes in. He's been lurking in the background. That was funny, actually. It was our last stream this past week. We disagreed on something, but we could still be friends and not agree with everything. Why'd you put it all in caps, by the way? That was really hateful, man. So, which, by the way, Emeka and I may have a big surprise for you coming up this weekend, so we'll keep you attuned to everything. Dang, I knew there was something I was supposed to be doing. What's up, Ava? We were just talking about you not too long ago, Ava. Okay, so next one is going to be BookRix. That's spelled BOOKRIX. Can you pull that up at all?
That one was the confusing one.
That was the confusing one. So BookRix, this was suggested by one of my viewers. And if you happen to be watching this, look at my favorite couple show. Of course, we're going to show this. Flattery will get you everywhere with me. By the way, don't forget, thumbs up, everybody. Let's see them thumbs. So BookRix, actually, if you were the one who suggested this to me, I'm forgetting who did, but thank you very much. I know it was one of my longtime supporters of this show, and he just popped up out of the woodwork. But BookRix, if you can drop the link to that inside the chat, that way everybody gets a good idea. I do know they do have Google Play, because that was where the viewer actually had contributed and told me that they have Google Play on there. So that was pretty exciting to me. But didn't you say it was just a little bit more complex?
It looked extremely confusing to me. Like, what is that?
It's messy. Yes, that's the thing is I think some of these platforms, aggregate publishers, if you're paying attention, Smashwords, BookRix, I would really recommend that you pull in like maybe some of these newbie self-publishers and have them look at your dashboards. And if it's too messy, guess what they're going to do? They're going to tune out, and they're going to go to cleaner ones like the Draft2Digitals, like KDP, you know, going into those things. So you can't have all this mess here confusing people. So BookRix, I'm still kind of leaning towards that only because one of my viewers said that was a pretty good one. Another aggregate publisher, this one's going to come at a bit of a premium, okay? Be prepared. It's called BookBaby. BookBaby actually just had a conference out in Philadelphia, correct? Was that? We were going to go, it was late October.
Philly, New Jersey, something around there.
I think it was about in Philadelphia. BookBaby actually had an independent authors conference not too long ago. I was going to catch it, but since I went to Vid Summit, I had to pass on BookBaby's event. But any event, BookBaby comes at a bit of a premium. You're not able to just do a free upload, but they do aggregate publishing as well. And just be prepared. You know, much like when you're using something like Ingram Spark, which is another great option, Ingram Spark doesn't come free. Your uploads cost $50, which, by the way, write this one down. I've said this in previous streams. This is good to the end of the year. Get published, all one word, get published, is a code that you can use one time for one of your books that you can actually waive the $49 setup fee for your ebook/print book right there. If you're still here, you know, you can probably attest to how Ingram Spark, how nice it's been for you and how easy it has been to upload. Oh, this is amazing. Sharda, thank you very much. I appreciate the shout out. Hey, and if you guys are inside this chat, I just implore you, if you enjoy this content, make sure that you're sharing it with somebody on social media. We're going to be here for just a little longer, and we're going to hopefully start to get it to where we can answer some questions. Please drop them inside the chat. If you're enjoying things, just put a thumbs up or even put a little emoji saying that you're enjoying, and make sure that you tell the moderators they're doing a good job. And tell Emeka that he can disagree with me and we'll still be friends. He doesn't have to put it in caps. I've used it quite a few times. Oh, nice. With Ingram Spark. Excellent. I appreciate you coming in there. So,
or a book review targeter. Oh, he's talking about Ingram Spark. Ingram Sparks.
Ingram Sparks, yes. Look at that, Mecca. She's giving you a hard time calling it Ingram Sparks. Oh, yeah, put the S. Oh, I see. You're reading his thing. Yes. Yeah, see, he's got to put the S. He's going to say it just now just to get me. You know, he's going to do that to get me. So anyway, that is the best overview of aggregate publishing that we could kind of offer to you and getting you to understand this. If you are a newbie self-publisher, I just really recommend get your feet wet first before you start considering those other options, aggregate publishing. Because do you agree or disagree with me on this one? Should a person go into aggregate publishing cold into the business?
I don't think it matters.
No?
No.
So right from my wife here, she disagrees with me, which is totally cool. She believes it doesn't matter. To me, I just believe that you can get used to the process of getting it up if you just try KDP and use their program. And as well, remember, you also have the favor of Kindle Unlimited. If you use the KDP Select program, you're not exclusive to it forever. You're just set for a 90-day period. Remember this, if you plan on using aggregate publishing, if you plan on going to something like a Draft2Digital, Smashwords, or PublishDrive, you need to take your book off of KDP Select. It needs to be completely through its 90-day period before you can move it over to the other ones. Now, here's something that I know, is if you have it on KDP Select and you opt out, it'll finish out its period. But if you don't want it to finish out its period, you can contact Amazon and tell them through the contact us inside your dashboard. You go in there, tell them you're ASIN, and say, hey, this is in the KDP Select program. I want this completely removed and officially off. But here's the problem. You forfeit all of your earnings for Kindle Unlimited for the KENPC. So just know that in advance. You might be losing out on some money from that particular book, just so you know. I would just recommend that if you've already opted in, you've got 90 days to finish out, just go in, uncheck that option through KDP Select, and get it off of there. It'll finish up its 90-day period. Set an alarm for yourself to go in and publish it over to aggregate publishing. Beauty is, for a lot of these aggregate publishers like Draft2Digital, you can actually go into there, set up all the information you want to, and don't press publish. Just wait. And then that way, when it comes time, your select period's up. It'll even say it within your KDP dashboard. It says enroll in KDP. It'll have that button right to the right of your actual book inside the dashboard. It'll have that there. You'll know then you can do that. So then you just go ahead and hit publish on Draft2Digital or whatever other publisher you're using, and then boom, you've got them fired off there. So, all right, are you keeping an eye on chat? What do we have so far here?
Mecca said, I think that was the last one, is paperback sold 96 copies on Ingram Sparks and only 4 copies on Amazon.
Boom.
Is that through ads or is that organic traffic?
If I can recall, and Mecca sharing with me, I think it was completely organic because it was completely out of the blue for him.
We need to move to Canada to get free ISBNs.
I don't know. I think he actually purchased his ISBNs. I could be wrong on that one, Mecca. So, which speaking of, there's going to be something that is going to be tying really closely to this chat that we're having today is this coming Saturday. I'm going to be with Mecca. There's going to probably be a little bit of an audible on the time we're going to be doing for Saturday's chat. But we're going to be talking about the value of KDP Select program. Is it right for you? So the two of us, we're actually going to come in there.
That's awesome.
No ads, organic.
So is it true about Mecca?
I don't know. I can't say. We're live on the air. We got 19 viewers. Thank you, 19 people. I really appreciate it. You guys give yourself a round of applause. Please, thumbs up. Get yourself some questions.
Wow.
You have questions about aggregate publishing or any kind of publishing in general, please fire it off right now. This would be great. You've got Mecca in the chat. Mecca's kind of chiming in here. My virtual assistant, Ava, she's hanging out here. She's got access to Google Play, by the way, here, folks. I got the first 90 days on Amazon, run for free promo, then opt out, publish the D2D in Google Play. Yes.
That's what she does, what you do.
So yeah, that's what I do. I always test out a publication first on KDP Select because worst case scenario, you're out 3 months. And then eventually you just take it on over there and you can make up the difference. Worst case scenario, or best case scenario is you've got a killer hit on your hands. Amazon pushes the heck out of it. And you got a cash cow. So just know this, that I'm not poo-pooing on Amazon KDP Select. It is right for certain circumstances. Other circumstances, if it's not rewarding you, it's not influencing your rank, it's not bringing home the cheddar, get it off of there and try other options outside of Amazon.
Does Amazon reflect sales within 24 hours? Because I'm finding it hard to estimate the effect of Facebook ads.
Yikes. It's really hit or miss. I mean, what's
Amazon does whatever they want.
Amazon reports how often they want to.
Sorry to be a smart aleck, but it's true. I don't think there's a way for us to tell because we're not physically knowing the customer and when they're buying it.
For instance, I know there's been a number of times, I think Dog Dad's inside this chat, when I bought one of his gluten-free books, he would say, did you buy that book? And I was like, yeah, I bought the book. I would take a screenshot, have to show it to him. And it wouldn't reflect until like a day or two afterwards. And you're kind of going, what the heck? And sometimes the ranking doesn't even fix. So I think every now and then, like Amazon goes, they just kind of just glitch out sometimes. I don't think they're out to get us per se, but every now and then I feel like they might be tweaking things in the background and they're like, oh yeah, you got a sale and your rank is 500,000. Like, what? I just did 24 freaking sales. And I got 500,000 in the paid Kindle store. Are you kidding me?
Amazon won't let me run a countdown deal on my book. Is it because the Kindle version is 99 cents? Wanted to run the countdown on the paperback.
Ooh, I didn't know you can do a Kindle countdown deal on a paperback.
I didn't either because it's not Kindle.
No, I don't think that's possible, Joshua. Yes, for Kindle countdown deal, if here's the thing: is you actually have for a Kindle countdown deal. Which, by the way, Kindle countdown deal can be stupid. It is really good. Like, not stupid bad, but stupid good. It's really good if you really leverage it just right. You've got the perfect type of a publication. The stretch workout plan, for instance, was just killing it every time I did it on a Kindle countdown deal. You can't have it at 99 cents because there's nothing to count down from. They won't go down to free unless you're doing on aggregate sites, and at that point you can't use Kindle countdown. Okay, so with that being said, you got to at least have it set at $2.99 to do a Kindle countdown deal, and it needs to be set up for at least 30 days without a change in price. That is a really big deal. In fact, as soon as you agree to the Kindle countdown deal and you've set it up, they lock and they gray out that price and they won't let you change that. So that's a very real possibility. The difference between a Kindle countdown deal and the free promo is this. You only have Kindle countdown deal on Amazon.com and Amazon.co.uk. So .uk and .com. Those are the only ones you can utilize it on, but you can have it up to 7 days at a time as opposed to the 5-day free promotion. It works nicely and it can definitely work in your favor. But sadly, for those fans that are over, say, in Australia, they're not going to be able to get that Kindle countdown deal. You can't advertise to your fans in Australia, hey, I got a Kindle countdown deal. They're going to go, so what? I can't get it. I need to get, So I think that the Kindle countdown deal has room to grow. And I believe that when they start to expand this option to other regions, that would be just really awesome. I'm really looking forward to it. Recommend to you is, if you can, get the different price points. If you're starting it at $2.99, I think it'll allow you to do it at 2 price points. So it'll do it like 99 cents. It'll start out, and then it'll move it to $1.99. So whatever your period of time is, it'll break it up into those chunks. Did that make sense at all? Mm-hmm. Okay, hopefully I wasn't being too vague. I felt like I said it really dumb. But Kindle Countdown Deal can work really well, or you can just stick it with 99 cents. Here's the beauty of Kindle Countdown Deals. Not too many people realize this. You still get 70% of royalties on this one. Even though it's at 99 cents, you get 70%. Most times, if you put something at 99 cents, you get 35%. But on a Kindle Countdown Deal, that's the exception to the rule. They will allow you to have 70%. I love Kindle Countdown Deals. I can't say enough good things about that. If you've got a book, and it does semi-good when you just do it on a free promo, it will do even better on a Kindle countdown deal. I'm telling you this, I love it. It's probably one of my favorite features. Anthony, what's going on? He's actually got his name on here. Look at that.
Yes. What do you think of the program Book Review Targeter deal?
The what? I'm sorry?
What do you think of the program Book Review Targeter deal?
William, I'm sorry, I don't know what you mean, book review targeter. I don't think I've heard of this. So if you can maybe phonetically spell out what it is in the chat so it doesn't get you banned or anything else like that, or Emeka, if you happen to know what that is, but never heard of book review targeter. Kelly's looking right now.
I wouldn't do that. Coming from someone who has their review privileges taken away, no. That's gray hat.
Yeah, for me, knee-jerk reaction is I don't pay for reviews. I don't, even if it is a service, but I'm willing to hear it out and see what exactly what all it's about. For me, I think you should be focusing on organic reviews, which just is getting out there and, as you say, William, belly to belly, face to face, eyeball to eyeball, talking to people and getting your business card, which is your book, into people's hands. Because when you can make a connection, you can build a relationship, people feel invested, and they're much more compelled to leave a review for your book than say if you were to try to get it through a service like this. I'm sure it's a great service. I just need to look at it first before I can really give you a solid verdict. For me, knee-jerk reaction, I'm not spending my money on that. I will take money and put it towards ads.
Ava says it best. William, you don't need that crap.
Ava's our girl. I love her. She's awesome. It scans books for reviewers that leave an email address so you can email them. Oh, okay. Yeah. Then it's essentially like the same thing you can get through K-Book promotions, and you can go like I've even showed this through one of my old videos about getting reviews. Is you just go in, find similar niches, look at some of the top reviews in the 4 to 5 stars of a particular book, and you go look at their Amazon reviewer profile, see if they've got an email address, and if they don't have any objection to getting free products or a complimentary copy. I'm not going to say in exchange for an honest review, because you can no longer ask for, you can no longer do the complimentary copy in exchange for an honest review. So I know if anybody's tuning in just now, you're probably scratching your head going, I thought we were talking about aggregate publishing, because we're starting to address some of the questions. So I know there's 17 of you inside this chat. If you haven't hit that thumbs up or that share, do so right now. It would be really awesome. And of course, fire off your questions. You've got my wife here, Kelly, and you've got myself. We'd be happy to answer some questions. And of course, there's a beautiful community of people here within the live chat and as well in the replay comments that you can really ask some questions and get some great value from people here.
Wubu, WBU asks, I'm having a hard time pricing a kid's hardcover book. On Ingram, I can get the price down to $22, but that's too much. Do you know of a domestic overseas supplier, or even if small MOQ?
I'm really at a loss, Wubu. Unfortunately, I'm assuming your book's probably full color, so that's probably why the price point is so high. Yikes. Anthony, you are the man. I appreciate that.
I would say, because I was doing some research today for other types of books, the ones with the spiral bound, to see how cheap I could get it.
Yeah.
So I would say just do a Google search, print on demand hardcovers.
Yeah.
If you haven't already, and see what comes up. Because I had several options for my spiral bound. So I'm sure there's something out there for you. Is it cheaper? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm thinking that $22 is a lot for a children's book. As you probably know, a reasonable price for a children's book is going to probably be closer to that range of like $10. And it better be hardcover too as well. So that's really rough. I wish I could give you a direct answer, but I'm hoping that anybody that's watching this on a replay might be able to give me some insights here. And feel free to drop a link to a distributor that might fulfill those type of things. I'm thinking for something like that, if you really want to get that price point down, you're going to probably have to look to other print-on-demand services to where you're probably going to have to buy bulk in advance. And unfortunately, that's the old model of publishing. And you don't want a garage full of books. At least I hope that you don't. If you do plan on doing that, you better have a plan on how are you going to get that out into the world so it's not staying inside your garage collecting dust. Any updates to get into Google Play yet? Yes, Anthony, we talked a little bit about this. Long story short, PublishDrive is one of the options that we found more recently that you can migrate your pronoun stuff over there. We're not endorsing PublishDrive. We're just saying this is an option that you can migrate stuff from Pronoun directly over to PublishDrive.
And it looks like Google Play is offering limited people access. So I don't know if you're asking about aggregate publishers or if you want to get to Google directly, but there's the link to apply for a Google Play account to publish.
Sharda put up her hand. She's like, hey, girl. I'm assuming that's what the emoji is. Wubu, yes. Wubu, you get name of the day. Sorry, I'm just going to put that out there.
It might be off topic, but are you a good cook? Yes.
Thank you. I've made some real stinkers, though, before.
Sharda, next time we're live, every Thursday at 6, he does weekends with Emeka.
Yeah.
Yes.
This Saturday, normally it's going to be Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with Emeka, but this week there's going to be a little bit of an audible called, and we will try to notify you. By the way, folks, If you go into my homepage here on YouTube, there's something that's called a discussion tab. Consider it kind of like the Facebook of YouTube. You can go in there and you can put comments and start a discussion in there. So if you've got a specific question and you don't feel comfortable about talking about it during a live chat or on a set of comments, go into my discussion and fire it off there. I respond to every one of my comments. That's right. I even respond to the trolls. Hi, trolls. I respond to everybody. And so please, I think anybody can be able to attest to the fact that I respond to all of them. And most times I'll heart them, I'll thumbs up them, and I'll give you some insights.
He does respond a lot.
Yep.
You want to ask them a question? Can I ask everyone a question?
Yeah, please ask them a question.
Is there a topic you would like to see us discuss on a Thursday? You know, that, I don't know, but is there a topic that you would like to have us talk about on Thursday?
Yeah, so there you go. What topics would you like us to cover? You can say that inside the chat right here. I see there's some people dropping off. You're bailing early. What are you doing here, folks? It's early. So in any event, is there any kind of topics that you want to discuss here sometime in the near future? I see some things that are very popular. I know a very hot button has been pronoun publishing and finding out what we can do to overcome some of that mess. You know, my apologies, because I've really championed them, and I'm really disappointed that they're closing the doors, but this is the reality of the situation. I don't have any stock owned in Pronoun or any other aggregate publisher, so when they go belly up, so I'm going to leave those videos up for now, but at least at the very front of a playlist for Pronoun, everybody knows it's done. So, but yeah, I know that those are hot topic buttons. So if there's other things that you want to talk about, and as well, bear in mind that my wife's got some great Photoshop skills. I also know how to use GIMP, so we can always discuss cover designs and some basic ways you can use everything from using open source software to membership style software like Photoshop.
There are some things we cannot discuss without private coaching. Sorry, Anthony.
There are. Yeah, there are. What do you say?
My system of producing so many books in detail.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Thank you for the input. I can always talk about productivity tips, but I think he was trying to be a ha-ha guy. Maybe. I don't know.
Thank
you for all the feedback. Woo-boo, please discuss social media advertising across many platforms simultaneously.
Ooh, that's a good one. Social media advertising.
I have no knowledge in that, so I would not be talking.
Yes, see, my illustrious wife here, she's the type of person that really has got this down to a science of actually planning out the ideal cover, the ideal title, the ideal description, things like that. She's able to really lock down metadata and not really have to rely too much on ads. Now, when it comes to social media advertising, my grasp on Facebook ads is tenuous at best. Okay, I know just a little bit to get by. What I would recommend to you first is, if you plan on using one particular ad, might I recommend that first of all, you know you're going to have to invest more than $5 in the long term. You can't expect to run a Facebook ad for $5 and get any amount of results. It's going to be like a college education. I want you to look at it that way. It's going to require a little bit of collateral damage here on your business at first. You're going to have to put a little bit of an investment into this, and then you're going to start to see it pay off. I had this conversation with Ben Gothard earlier on a live stream on his channel, and I said, if you could just do yourself a favor, pick one ad format that most interests you. To me, this is a little bit off of social media, but if I would recommend anything, it's dead simple, super easy to use, is Amazon Marketing Services. AMS is way easy. If you can master the fundamentals and the basics of Amazon Marketing Services, you're going to see a great return on investment. I would say within your first month, if you're spending a little bit of money and spending some time learning it. I've got some videos on how to use Amazon Marketing Services. There's also a channel for Amazon Marketing Services. They actually walk you through some of that process. It's a little bit more dry. You're not going to get high energy people like me and, you know, super passionate about it, but you're going to get at least the information that you need. I know it stinks. Sometimes you got to get your information from rather dry sources. So take a look at Amazon Marketing Services. I'd recommend to you. If Facebook ads is something that most piques your interest. I know Mark Dawson right now actually has, and you can look this up through Self-Publishing Formula, his website. He has an actual ads course. It's right now launching. And I can't remember the price point or anything else like that. If you're going to get any information from anybody that's a credible source, you can't find anyone better than Mark Dawson. The guy is a tried and true self-publishing success story. I would say, and one of these days I'm going to try to get Mark Dawson onto this channel to actually have an interview. I love his content. I love his message and everything that he provides here. So Facebook ads is another way to go. You can also look into Twitter, and you can look into Instagram influencers. If I were to recommend anything to you, if you're working on a shoestring budget, you don't have any kind of money to work with, go with your free options first. If you are the avatar for your business, let's say, for instance, you've got a pen name, somebody written your work. If you're able to go out and represent that brand, or in my instance where I wrote my own stuff, and you can go out and represent it, that's the easiest way to do it. Go out to podcasts, go to YouTube channels, go write guest blog posts. Libraries run events all the time. You can go to your local bookstore and talk to them about doing it. If you can get it to where you get out there and use the Grant Cardone method of be everywhere at the same time, you won't need too much ads. The ads is just going to be the icing on the cake that's just going to be the jet fuel that propels your book to the top. But the more visible that you can make yourself and make your book, the better. It's going to get it up there. I think if I had anything to do over again, it would be this YouTube channel. And it's not, I'm not knocking you guys here. It was my mistake. I broke ground on self-publishing. I should have been doing one on fitness all this time. But you can only imagine, since my brand is fitness, I'd probably be doing much better. But I can't complain, because this does give me exposure, and it does give me traffic to my website as well as my books. So there you go.
Ava wants to know, I'm just going to go through these fast. Ava
Okay.
wants to know how to get 10 categories in KDP. Martin wants to know, or Martian wants to know how to get reviews.
Okay, let's hit back on the 10 categories in KDP. It's just super simple on this one, Ava. What you have to do is, first of all, find other books that are within your niche and the specific browse paths that use it underneath product details. You're going to copy and paste the entire browse path from Kindle store all the way down to whatever the last portion of that category is. You'll copy, paste it over into a separate document. Then you go into your KDP dashboard, and you're going to go into Contact Us, and it's pretty intuitive from there. And you just pretty much I think, change product details or something like that's what's going to be, or add product details. Either way, you'll go in there and you'll say to them, ASIN, whatever, your specific book, and put all the browse paths and ask them. You can have up to 10 right now. This is not evergreen. I don't know if they're going to change it anytime soon. I know that they tweak some of the actual, how they expose those, but you'll only ever see the 3 top categories that you're placing in. So get those 10, and it actually applies same thing for Create Space. You're just going to want to make sure that you have books browse paths and not Kindle browse paths. You want to make sure it's books all the way down to the end. Copy and paste it. Get a hold of Create Space through your dashboard. Same thing. You're going to provide the product number or the product ID number, and then they do from there. So next question.
Well, I just asked this for future shows, so we don't have to answer all of it today.
Okay.
I think Martians might be a good segment for maybe next week, how to get reviews.
Okay.
I'm not very good at it, but I could give in my input. Woo Boo wants to know if we're doing anything special to sell more books for the holidays. I'm producing more books. My business is about 95% profit. I don't invest in ads because I don't like it. I'm down, let's see, I've produced 559 books this month. So I'm looking to do 441 more. That's my theory. People buy a lot of stuff. I'm going to produce a lot of books and t-shirts. End of story.
I've really adjusted a lot of my strategy going to Q4. I was originally planning on massive uploads, but at this point, I'm focusing on one thing at a time, and that's just, that's you're focusing on one thing. Mm-hmm. I'm starting to really try to branch out, not just into publishing realm, but I want to learn more about publishing, so I'm able to provide this information to you folks here. That's why I'm getting a hold of really big names within the industry and trying to get to know them.
Ava says, holy crap.
Yeah.
And then she said earlier, everyone wants to pick my brain.
Everyone
You'll
wants
get a
to
chance sometime after Q4 Madness is done. I just don't know when yet.
Yes, Kelly will have her own show that I will step out of the room. You guys get to have her without my bald head being in here.
WTF? Did you say 500 plus books? Yes.
Yes. Thank you for not wording that one out.
No problem.
I want to keep the monetization here.
My previous, I think, record was like 400. And so it really helps for productivity and doing things in the masses to only focus on one thing. Yeah. I try really hard to put no more than 3 things on my task list each day. And it's really cool to say no to stuff. Like ACX, I never touch anymore. It can just whatever. Yeah. You know, all these little things I was doing adds up to a lot of stuff in my brain. So making this goal is kind of crazy. And I'm not saying... I mean, we're definitely working, 12 hours a day? I'm at least.
I don't know. We have lots of breaks. Come on now.
But, yeah.
Yeah, we do have lots of breaks. So there will be days where we'll start at a time and finish at a time. But in between, we're going out feeding ducks. We'll go to work out. We'll eat.
We're working a lot more now than we did in the summer.
Right, yeah. It's a little bit, well, I mean, it's colder outside. That's definitely our benefit here in Ohio. I would recommend to you folks that whenever you hear large numbers like that, remember this, that first of all, we're not going to be doing any kind of scammy tactics. It's understanding a system and process and also streamlining what you're doing. It's figuring out what you're doing, how can you make it more efficient, what's necessary to get it done, and what is unessential to get it done. And that's where it starts to really pick up the momentum and knowing that. And, sometimes hiring out when it's necessary. That's when it really starts to make a huge, huge difference. So I like the suggestion. Why don't we talk about, let's see here, next Thursday is actually Thanksgiving. So, folks, I think we might actually have to call an audible because Thursday I'm spending some time with my in-laws. So we may not be on. Why don't we go ahead and call it? You want to do Wednesday instead? She said,
Tuesday or Wednesday. Let the chat decide.
You guys call it Tuesday or Wednesday before we start to wrap things up here. Tuesday or Wednesday. When would you like to join us? We're going to talk a little bit more about reviews, how to get them, what are good practices, what are best practices, and which are not good practices. Because we can talk about this till the cows come home with reviews and what works, how to write and craft the best review as well, and how to utilize Amazon Author Central. This is just a huge topic, and not too many people realize there is actually a big white hat region that people don't pay attention to when it comes to getting reviews. So
no one cares Tuesday or Wednesday, so I guess it's our choice.
All right, so it sounds both. I tell you what, Ava's just said it. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna shoot for Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this next week. So you can look forward to that. Most likely, I will schedule the self-publishing interview next week on Thursday on Thanksgiving, so everyone gets an opportunity to see a video.
And how about if we get maybe 30 people in the chat on Tuesday, we'll do one Wednesday.
There you go. So we're putting it out there. If everybody can meet up on Tuesday, if you can share that, you will be forever in your debt, of course. And if we get 30 people on Tuesday, we will do another one Wednesday, and it will be an Ask Me Anything. We're going to have a fun. We haven't done an Ask Me Anything
for a few
before.
Weeks.
Well, we've done just questions and answers, but not an Ask Me Anything.
I will not share my journal, my process, but yes.
Tuesday works. All right. Hey, folks, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure that you click that thumbs up. I see there's about a dozen of you inside here. As per usual, if you haven't subscribed, why haven't you subscribed? Click that subscribe, turn the notifications on to get all my latest videos and notified about my upcoming live streams. In the meantime and in between time, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale.
And Kelly.
And we'll see you soon.